Good afternoon, fellow Toastmaster and guests. Welcome to the 67th online meeting of Speakers Community and Toastmaster Club. I am your Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. In online meeting environment, there are few instructions that we follow. I request you to rename yourself. All the Toastmasters can prefix TM to your name, and guests can prefix guest. I also request all the speakers and role holders to prefix their role to their name so that it's easy to identify them. I give you 10 seconds for their activity. Okay. All the speakers are requested to do quick audio and video check before the start their speech. Okay. I would request you not to type anything in chat box whether a speaker is speaking as it disturbs the speaker. You can use private chat to provide feedback. You are all requested to keep your audio on mute in case you aren't speaking. Please refrain from the unnecessary moments or sipping on drinks if your video is on. Please turn off the video in case you need to do so. Do not click on the share screen unless your speech or role required to do so. You can display a high five or namaste when taking over or leaving from the role. You can connect with the text master for the technical glitch. The tech master for today's meeting is Toastmaster Monica. That is me. If you are a speaker, then please ensure you pin the timer or confirm that the same is visible at all times. This meeting is being recorded. In case you have any reservation, please let us know. You can network after the meeting. Please stay tuned till the end of the meeting. Let me share the mission of our club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skill, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Let me introduce the presiding officer of the today's meeting is Toastmaster Kunal. I welcome the presiding officer for today's meeting, the Toastmaster Kunal. Over to you, Toastmaster Kunal.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica, for such a lovely introduction and starting the meeting on time. I hope I'm clearly audible and visible to you all.
Yes, you are.
Well, thank you. Good evening to all my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I'm pleased to be your substitute presiding officer for our today's meet. Now, before we start, I would like to appreciate Toastmaster Monica, who has joined our club only a few months back, but has become a very integral part, as she always manages to attend the meeting regularly. So a big round of applause on that part, Monica. Well, before we proceed, I would also like to call upon the guest, if we have any guests attending the meeting today. Zoom Master, do we have any guests?
Yes.
I think we have guest Kartiki.
Kartiki. Yeah.
Kartiki, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. Would you like to turn on your camera?
Network connectivity is low on my side, so I can't switch on my camera.
No worries, Kartiki. I would like to ask you a few questions to you. How did you get to know about our club or Toastmasters? As in, and what are your expectations from our today's meet?
Actually, I'm already a Toastmasters. I just got to know about your club through the Toastmaster of the day. So yeah.
All right, got it, got it. I would be very pleased if you end up joining our club. Well, do we have any other guests? I think we have.
No more guests. You can go ahead.
All right, Toastmaster Dheeraj, thanks. Now, Toastmasters, we have a very special keynote speaker today, Toastmaster Nikhil, who is going to guide us over how to become an effective evaluator. Now, before that, I would like to call upon another special yet dynamic Toastmaster who is also doing the Toastmaster of the day today, Toastmaster Shreya, who is a very cheerful girl, and you will always see her smiling through her camera. She likes to learn new things and embrace the change. Well, to embrace the change now, I'd like to change my position on the floor with her and would like to call her to introduce Toastmaster Nikhil. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Shreya.
Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, TM Kunal. Am I audible and visible? Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you
Yes.
A very warm welcome to all of you. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. For the benefit of the guest, let me explain the agenda of a Toastmasters meeting. So it is generally divided into 3 segments. First segment is prepared speeches, which is followed by a table topic session, and the last segment is that of evaluation. But this is a special meeting. So we'll first have an educational session by TM Nikhil on Step Up for Evaluation, which will be followed by the prepared speeches and the general evaluation of the meeting. So TM Nikhil is a chartered accountant, an MBA, and a law graduate. And now he enters the Toastmasters meeting. This sounds like a start of a joke or may set an expectation for a stimulating table topic session, unless you know that Nikhil is in the same room. He is a 3-in-1 finance professional who loves to read, solve puzzles, and is always ready to have fun with his friends. At Toastmasters, he's fascinated by the ideas of expressing one's thoughts and the struggles and efforts taken to find better ways to do the same. This is what makes him a good listener, good evaluator, and a good Toastmasters. So let us hear it from him. TM Nikhil, Step Up for Evaluation. Step Up for Evaluation, TM Nikhil.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Shreya, for that wonderful introduction. And I would like to say hello to everybody. If people can just start their cameras and let's have a wave at least. It's already an online forum and I already miss meeting a lot of people. Can you just start your camera so that I can see you? Okay, great. I can see almost, okay, I can see Monica, Shreya, Imran, Kunal, Sherry, Rishabh, Raza, Dheeraj, Vikas, hi Dheeraj, Digvijay, Kartiki. I know you're there and there is no network issue. Okay, Kartiki is from my club. She's my mentee. I asked her to join this because she has also started taking evaluations recently. I thought it will be good for her if she comes in. Vikas, Raj, and Nishant, I don't see you. I hope there are no network issues that you are in and you can attend the meeting properly. And let me know if you're not able to hear me or there are some glitches. I am facing a laptop issue with my laptop since yesterday, but I managed to dig out an old PDF which covered this entire thing. So I'm ready with my presentation today. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to go and speak for next almost 40 minutes and try to give some insights on how do we do evaluations. And I'll need the help of the timer for this activity. So we have a timer with us today, right? And our counter. So TMOD, maybe you want to introduce them before I get into the flow, because we'll need their inputs when the speakers come in. So the agenda for the meeting is for 40 minutes. I will do the education session, and I'll give you a cheat sheet which I use for evaluation. And everybody, I would encourage if you can get a piece of paper and do the evaluations along with us. Then we'll have the speakers who will speak for 7 minutes, so 15 minutes of speeches. And then what we'll do is we'll have the evaluator, one evaluator from the club will evaluate, and I will also evaluate. Then the second evaluator will evaluate, and I will also evaluate. So for the same speech, you will hear 2 evaluations, one from my side and one from your club evaluator. And rest of you, I'm hoping, is carrying the cheat sheet with you. And post this, we can discuss. There are possibilities that there are some more points which you have missed out. So we can discuss about it, and we can bring a consensus to our learnings about evaluation and how we go around it. And I need the timer's help because sometimes I get carried away in my stories and the way I take this session. So I need somebody to put a hard stop on me at around 40 minutes after I start speaking. So who is the timer for today?
I'm the timer Toastmaster Nikhil.
Okay.
Toastmaster Kunal. Yeah.
So is this okay this way? So maybe I can hand over the stage back to the TMOD so that she can introduce the role players. Means how does it happen at your club? Do you invite the role players to call out what are their objectives and how they're going to support?
Yes. You can hand it over to.
Okay, I'm handing over the stage to you, Shreya. You do the introductions and then I'll take over.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So I have 3 pillars who will help me with this meeting. So I would first like to call upon the timer for the day to explain the role. TM Hridya.
Actually, TMOD Shreya, she is not available, so I'll be taking up the timer role for today's meeting. All right. So, hello Toastmaster, I'm the timer for our today's meet. As a timer, my role and responsibility is to track the timing details of your prepared speech as well as the evaluation. For the prepared speech, the time varies from as per the project. For an instance, the time allotted for an icebreaker speech is between 4 to 6 minutes. Today, we are not having the table topic session, so we'll directly move forward towards the evaluation. For an evaluation, the time allotted is between 2 to 3 minutes. I would also like to mention that I'll be flashing the green card at the minimum qualifying time, the yellow card at the midpoint of the qualifying time range, and finally the red card at the maximum qualifying time. I would also like to mention that there is a 30 seconds grace period before the speech and after the end of the speech. All the speakers are requested to use or complete their speech within the time frame in order to get qualified for the polls. And I'll hand over my speech whenever called upon. Thank you, and over to you, TMOD Shreya.
Thank you, Kunal. Next up, we have TM Imran as the accountant for the day.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. Good afternoon and Eid Mubarak, my dear fellow Toastmaster and dear guest. The purpose of our counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a cut or pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for words and keep account of inappropriate expressions such as well, so, you know, and sounds like are. I'll also note when a speaker repeats a word or phrase such as I or this means. It is known as a double crutch. I will present my report when called upon during the meeting. Over to you, Master of the Day.
Eid Mubarak, Imran.
Thank you.
Now I would like to call upon TM Rishabh to explain his grammarian role.
Rishabh, you are on mute.
Sorry. Yeah. Greetings, everyone. So I am the grammarian of the day. So my responsibility is to place close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any incorrect usage of grammar, as well as any good usage of words, quotes, saying, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. So the word of the day for today is eloquent. It means using language to express ideas or opinions clearly and well so that they have a strong effect on others. For example, her wit and eloquence made it a job to be around her. Then I also introduced the phrase of the day. So the phrase of the day is, just a second, please, sorry. Fly on the wall. So fly on the wall means you are trying to be, fly on the wall. So you are trying to be get unnoticed in a room of people. Thank you. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Rishabh. Now I would like Nikhil to take over from here.
Thank you, Shreya. Thanks for this introduction. And timer, I will again ask you to help me so that we maintain the timing for this presentation. I'm going to share my screen now, okay, and take over the session. Let me know if you can see my screen. You can?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, so this session is called a Step Up for Evaluation. And the theme of this session is babies. I have done this earlier also in a couple of years back, and I'm using the same slides again. And the objective of this evaluation session is to help speakers at all levels. Either you're a beginner or you're an advanced level speaker, or you're just right in the middle of your journey. If you want to pick up some skills on evaluation, I've made it in a way that we have tips for everyone. And it's almost like how you step up and start taking baby steps toward evaluation. And it helped me win the evaluation contest in 2020. And for the last 2-3 years, I have been constantly coming in the finals. I want to win it again, but the competition is very intense. And there is no fixed format about evaluation. Everybody has their own ways. Some recommend a CRC way. Some recommend a way wherein you talk about what was good, what was bad, and what could improve. But the intention of all these presentations is to help speakers become a better version. And that is where we should be focusing our attention. In case you have any questions or doubts around it, please just use the chat box. And at the end of the session, I'll cover all the questions which we have done. But I'll keep on the flow. Let's go with the flow, because I have a lot of inputs, narrations to give. So these are some of the points which I want to cover. And the reason I'm using babies over here is because who doesn't like babies? Like, they are the most easiest and the lovable things over here. But I want also to try to take some inputs from you on something like, just give me a second. I'll share my screen again. So okay, can you see my screen again?
Yes.
Okay, and the animation. You know which baby is this? Any guesses?
Some
Let's
rich
make
person's
it
baby.
so that, hello?
Some rich person's baby.
Some rich person's baby. It's from a rich family.
Tamur.
This was Tamur. And I think there is another baby also in the family. But, you know, we know the way the industry works. This person is, or Tamur is going to get a chance to be in movies again sometime. But any idea which is this baby? A recent baby. I think she was born last year. Any guesses?
A 1000 baby or something like that number.
No, this is a very famous baby. Like, all the cricket lovers hated the result of her birth because Kohli stopped playing cricket for a while after she was born. Now, whatever be his reasons, but some of them were also speculating that because he became a father, he's not giving attention and everything. But again, if you look at this baby girl's father and mother, this baby has a chance to become either an actress or a cricketer. But let's go to some other babies also. Maybe you are having a tough time looking at this one. I have some more baby pics, and let's see one thing on this one. So any idea on this one? This is Olivia Lightning Bolt, who is Usain Bolt's baby. She was born in 2020. And this is Elon Musk's baby. And he came up with a very innovative name for her, which is pronounced as X-A12. Now you can trust Elon to come up with some new things over here. But the point I'm trying to show over here is that if you look at all these babies, there are some babies which we know that they are going to get a chance to do better. Even in Bollywood, if they get a chance, unless and until they have talent, they will not be able to do things. If you look at these two particular babies, we have Elon Musk's baby. Elon is an inventor and Usain Bolt is an athlete. Now, both these babies will not be getting a chance in this environment because of nepotism, what will happen in the movie industry. To earn for a chance or to really get ahead like their parents, they will have to work hard. And that is a key message I want to give. If you feel like, how do I get better at evaluation? The first thing you need to know is that nobody's born as a good evaluator. You have to work hard at it. You have to make sure that you are learning the right techniques, you are exercising. If you are trying to be an athlete, you will be doing that. The kind of exercises with Virat did or with Usain Bolt did, same Olympia will have to do if she wants to be a runner like her father. And if Elon's baby wants to be an innovator, she has to learn physics, maths, and everything and go there. And if you want to be a good evaluator, you will have to learn some of the basics. And you'll have to see other people and learn from them and learn from different places. So the first thing is, don't be under an impression that somebody is a good evaluator because they are born a good evaluator, or this is something which can be learned easily. And that is the first thing you need to understand. And you'll ask me, how do I learn this? Participate. Now look, I love this picture. Like, if you look at this picture, it's like a baby which is just born, a doctor, the parents are probably beaming at it. And if you look at the expression of the baby, it's like full of disgust. Why? Why am I born? Why did you bring me out at this point of time? Now I'll have to struggle and work hard. But we have to. If you have to enjoy life, you have to do things, you have to participate. So my first input for the club as well as people is, if you want to evolve as a speaker, the first thing you need to do is start participating in roles as a speaker, as an evaluator. Please participate in all the ways in which a club is giving you an opportunity to speak. We are here to learn how to speak and how to make ourselves better. So please participate, and especially don't pass out evaluation opportunities. I'm going to give you tips which will help you make you better evaluators, and I will also tell you how to look at evaluation so that you don't suffer through anxiety while taking up this role. This is mainly for the newcomers. Okay, so here is another picture. Can you see this? And this is one of the picture which is in my phone. I always use this. So any idea on this picture? Any comments? What do you see?
Perspective.
Right. It's on the perspective. Like on the left side, we have parents who are looking at a wonderful toy they have got for the baby, and they're saying, oh, I love it. There is an elephant, there is a tiger, there is a pig, and the baby must be happy looking at it. But if you look at it from the baby's perspective, all it is seeing is animals' bottoms. And even though kids get excited about almost everything, but I'm sure they are not going to get excited with the toy where it's only seeing baby's bottoms. And you use this perspective to understand what do different sections or different people in Toastmasters meetings want. We have an audience, we have a speaker, and we have an evaluator. I believe the audience wants to have fun and learning if they're not speaking, because that's how you engage. Nobody will come to a meeting if they're not learning anything or not having enough fun. As a speaker, you get an opportunity to speak, you get feedback on how you're speaking, but you also learn how to ensure that you're able to give their message. But if you think of an evaluator, he's in a very unique position. And this is why I asked you to participate in evaluation, because an evaluator is the only person who gets to express his opinion on the spot. A table topics person can go in any direction, but an evaluator has to give what he feels about something, and he is forced to give a positive feedback. He cannot make unnecessary jokes or tell a story or anything more randomly or impromptu speaking he wants to talk. He has to limit himself into certain things so that he gives a very, very positive feedback. If you are a professional or if you want to grow up to a professional, this is the best place to learn how to interact in a professional manner if you take up the role of an evaluator. So keep this in mind. There are a lot of learnings. You just have to look at it very clearly. What do I get out of it when I become an evaluator? You get to speak your mind and you get to give a very positive feedback. Now, this is another meme of a baby which I find all the time. This is like, yes, I did it, kind of a baby. And if you go online and look at this picture or look at this meme, there is another meme which goes around is about the boy who is growing. So there is a very recent photo of this boy with, you know, faint mustache sprouting out and all this, because this is like almost a 12-year-old picture. And we constantly compare that age because the boy keeps on growing. As I said, as an evaluator, as a speaker, you keep on growing when you take evaluation. Now, how do you approach evaluation? What do you do over here? So my suggestion or input is, firstly, understand that evaluation is important. Secondly, think about evaluation is a table topic. Now, when we go for a table topic, we get one quote, one picture, one topic, or maybe 3-point stories or different ways, but we get very limited input. And we get 2.5 minutes to express whatever we feel about it, and we go in every direction. But when we hear a speech, the speaker is speaking for almost 7 minutes, and we are supposed to give only a 3-minute feedback on that. So if you think of evaluation as a table topic, it's a very easy job. And I want you to encourage yourself thinking that it's just a 3-minute feedback on a 7-minute speech. That's how you can look at it, break it down, and that too in a very, very fixed format. You're talking about what you like, how to make the speech better. So the format becomes very, very clear. And that's how you should approach it. Think of it as a 3-minute table topic if you're feeling anxious about attempting evaluation, because it is really going to escalate and move at a very, very fast pace, whatever learnings you are getting out of your speeches. Whatever inputs you get, whatever you think you're improving in your speeches, you're able to share that wisdom with the other person. That too in a very limited time, in a positive way. So think about it as a table topic if you have any apprehension. This is mostly for the beginners. Now, how do we give this feedback? What are the areas in which we talk about, and how do we talk about it? You will be able to give a very good feedback if you're able to connect to the speaker. And these are 4 ways in which you can connect to a speaker. First thing is listen very attentively. Don't take away attention from the speaker. Sometimes what happens is when the speaker is giving a speech, as an evaluator, you start making notes because you realize something. Oh, he's not using the voice modulation correctly. Let me write a line. Oh, he's not doing body language correctly. Let me write a line. And you take away your focus from the speaker. That can cost you. It happened to me like around 6 years back. I was in an area contest and there was a speech by Toastmaster Aaron. And he gave a very wonderful speech talking about how instead of, he was talking about his interactions with a girl who was encouraging him to use ceramic cups instead of plastic cups or plastic bottles. And in the speech, somewhere he said that instead of carrying plastic bottles, you should be using glass bottles. And I was sitting and making my notes and everything, and I realized there are a lot of plastic bottles around, and he could have easily used it as a prop. And I was writing furiously my notes, and I'm just making notes about it. And I stopped looking at the speaker. He took out a small bottle from his pocket, he showed it, and he put it back. And I missed it completely. And after, say, 20 minutes, I go up on the stage in front of 500 people, area level contest. And I'm like, full encouraging, positive mood, said, why didn't you use a prop? You should have used a prop. And when I got down, I got really good pats on my back from my club member saying, where was your attention? What are you doing? You're making a fool of us. He already used a prop. So the reason this happened was because I did not pay attention to him. And I took that feedback very seriously. I developed a very, very small and smart way of making notes, which I'm going to share with you today. And when the speaker speaks, I will encourage you to use a piece of paper and try to use my method. You can use your own method for any of your evaluation, but today I want you to learn a new method, which is not a CRC method. This is something which I developed and it helps me. Probably it will help you also. So this is an outcome which came out of my interactions as an evaluator or my learning path as an evaluator. So how do we connect? First thing is listen very attentively. Second is relate to the speeches. Now, how do you relate to the speeches? You ask yourself a question. Do I agree with this topic or do I disagree? You will hear a lot of speeches. A lot of speeches are motivational and you will feel like you're agreeing. But there are some areas where you will feel that I don't completely buy this point. Now, the reason you need to ask yourself is because then you're getting involved and you're evaluating and you're assessing and analyzing the speech of the speaker. So listen attentively and try to relate to it. Yes, I agree with it. This is something which I saw happening to me or somebody close to me. No, I disagree. The content needs more cleanup. If you make an opinion like this, it will shape your evaluation. You can also try to speak to the speaker before the meeting. And I'm talking about this in a club environment. Like today, I was talking to one of the speakers who is going to speak today, and I just had a word when we joined in. How are you doing? What are the areas you want to work upon? Any specific areas you're looking forward to? And the reason I'm doing this is not because I want to give a very nice evaluation and I'm looking for pointers. I know my objective is to help the speaker. So if I'm speaking to the speaker beforehand, I feel like I have a small connect with the speaker. He also knows that I'm looking for inputs to help him. So it becomes, my job becomes a little bit easier. So have a word with the speaker. It can be just an ice-breaking kind of a thing. How are you? Everything well? Hope you're doing great. What is the speech about or something? Would you like to share something about your previous speeches? So this is how you develop a connect. Lastly, you need to summarize things in your own words. Like if I agree, disagree, I don't need to use the same summary over. Like if you remember Dhananjay Hitarashi's speech about I see something in you, he uses the word constantly, I see something in you, see something in you. Instead of saying that I see something in people, I can use my own words to summarize and say that there is a huge potential in everybody. Everybody can be a superhero. Now, these are the same things which I'm saying. What he is saying that look at the possibilities in my own words. So this will also help you connect. Like it happens like, you love a serial or something and you go to a person and say, oh, I love Stranger Things. And somebody says, yes, horror category is good. Stranger Thing is amazing. Now he's using different words, but the emotions and the content is coming very clearly that both of you are at the same wavelength. So this is how you develop a connect with the speaker and with the topic. And if you do this correctly, the involvement, you will have a good amount of material for your evaluation topics. Just a check, am I going too fast, too detailed? This is okay. Can I have a thumbs up or something? No comments, nothing. You can speak also if you want. I can see some thumbs
Okay.
up. Great. Okay. So this is all about how do we get into a mindset. I'll just move on this side. So listen attentively. I told you how to take shorter notes or take notes later on. See, when you're in a contest environment, and I think 3 months down the line in September, we'll have our contest. It's very important to pay attention. Now, if you look at these images, it is more about how phones and digital media is taking our attention. Here we are encouraging people to take shorter notes or take, I told you the story about the water bottle, but I'm also telling you, don't pen down your entire evaluation when the speaker is speaking. This happens often, like when you're listening, you're making notes, you're very, very under pressure to ensure that you give a very good evaluation. So you start penning down your evaluation. You remember when we used to write answers in our exam, we used to highlight certain points. We used to put a different color for certain points so that it will come to the attention of the teacher, which are the key highlights. So if you want to pen down, just put in key points over here. And when you look at my key sheet or cheat sheet, which I'm going to show, you will see how to make this notes also. Okay. This is another way to relate to anybody. It is relate to your experiences. Are you agreeing or disagreeing, accepting, rejecting, and dissect? Now, one of the things which happen over here is you wonder, do I have the right to do this? And let me assure you that every person who joins in Toastmasters is here to learn how to express their opinion, and your opinion matters. If you have feedback, it is important for you to share that feedback. Whether the speaker or the end user uses it or not, that is his prerogative. But as a person who has an opinion, who has been listening attentively, who's trying to relate, your opinion matters a lot. The 3 minutes which you are going to spend, or the 8 minutes you have spent listening to the person, or the 5 minutes you have been writing your notes, all that time has a value. It is being expressed in terms of an opinion. So don't ever feel that you need to hold back because your opinion, it's your opinion also. Another thing which happens is that when you're getting 3.5 minutes to speak, which is exactly 210 seconds. In those 10 seconds, if you start getting defensive about your opinion, you will start using words like, in my opinion, it is this way. Now, the minute I use the word, in my opinion, I feel this is this way, I'm spending almost 5 to 6 seconds of that precious time out of that 210 seconds. I shouldn't be doing that. So take it as a fact that your opinion is important. Don't be defensive. Don't say that, oh, maybe it's my opinion, in my humble opinion. People come up with various ways to sugarcoat before giving a very strong feedback. You can do this sugarcoating after. As I said, we can speak to the speaker before, but we can also speak to the speaker after the speech, after your 3 minutes are done. So this takes me to the next point is you have to connect to the speaker before the speech and after the speech. I'm sorry, some of the graphics are not visible. It's like towards the end of this cartoon, there is a guy who has completely shaved off his beard. And the line was like, you connect to the speaker before the speech and after the speech. Because what happens is in 210 seconds or 3 minutes, you're not able to express everything. And sometimes you will have many points. And some points will be very, very critical. Like, I know in my club, sometimes it happens that the evaluator feels the project objective has not been met. Is this something we should announce in the meeting during the evaluation or later on? As a club policy, what we do is we speak to the VP education immediately and we call it out that we feel the content has not, the speech has not met the project objectives. And we do just a one sentence summary over here. But please reach out to the VP education and the mentor on the achievement of the speech objectives. But after the speech, we definitely meet and say that these were the areas because of which we felt like you were supposed to present a lot of research and data in your speech, and you have not referred to any numbers, statistics, or any studies over here. This is why we feel probably this is not meeting the objectives. Have a word with your mentor, have a word with the VP education to make sure that you're on the right track. As an evaluator, I will evaluate the content and the delivery, how it has happened, and how we can make it better, and we call it out directly. So connecting with the speaker, if you are ready to connect with the speaker before and after, some of your evaluation, some of your apprehension about speaking to the speaker goes away. Secondly, you also are able to control yourself. You don't need to get worried about how much should I speak, and I will come to this point in some time. Now, next topic is you need to understand what the speech is about. And this is a very, very important portion, because when you're giving speeches in pathways, there is an objective which is given to you. And most of the time, the objective is read out. But if you are in a contest environment or you are just doing evaluation somewhere else and you are not having those objectives, how do you evaluate? You ask yourself, what is this speech about? Is this an inspirational speech or motivational speech? Is the speaker trying to persuade us, or he's just giving us information? Is he trying to just give a humorous speech and develop his humor? Okay, what is the objective of the speech? So there is a beautiful document which calls out on what is the specific objective and what is the general objective of the speech. And why this is important, because in 2018, I remember there was a gentleman by the name of Sanjay from Chatterati Toastmasters, and he won the evaluation contest. And there were almost 12 people before him, and this was the last person who came at the end of a very hectic 4-day for the evaluation contest. And there was an inspirational speaker who gave a very nice motivational speech. And all the 11 people agreed that it's a motivational speech. Okay. And Sanjay was the only person who came in and said, this is a very nice motivational speech, but if you want to inspire the audience to an action, you need to do 1, 2, 3 things. And it was such a best moment for me. And it was like a categorization that there can be a difference between inspirational and motivational. It sounds like it's the same thing, right? Inspirational and motivational. But he just called out that this sounds very motivational. You can get people charged up, but it will not inspire people to action because you're not giving them what to do. So think about it. What is this speech about? Look at the objectives and think about whether he's meeting the objective or not. And how do we do this? And when you're doing this, you sometimes you'll wonder, how do I do this? Is this the right way? Or how do we narrate? Because the speech belongs to somebody else. And how can I or a listener can summarize this in 1 sentence or 2 sentences? So here's a story I want to share with you. You know this movie Interstellar? Have you seen it? Any raised hands? How many of you have seen Interstellar? Okay, I see Dheeraj has seen it. Nobody else. Come on, guys. Christopher Nolan movie. Please, please go and see it. It's not as bad as, means Tenet was very confusing, but this is very clear sci-fi movie. But there is a beautiful story behind it. Then the name of the musician I forgot. This is this German guy over here, and Christopher Nolan is standing over here. So the movie is a sci-fi movie which involves aliens or future human beings and gravity and a lot of things. But when Christopher Nolan was narrating the story to the music director, he just went and said, I'm making a movie wherein a father makes a promise to his son that he's going to come back to him. Can you make a movie? Can you make a music for this? Okay, and this music was nominated for Academy Awards also. It was so beautiful. And the music director, he worked for 2-3 months on this music, and he came back with a very nice theme, which was like increasing in intensity. And it was a lovely tune, and he kept listening. And then he heard that Christopher Nolan is working on a movie which involves space travel and travel to other planets and all this. And he said, when are you going to make the movie about the father and the son? And Christopher Nolan was like, no, it's the same movie. And instead of a son, you have a daughter now. And the musician said, oh, I have a son, and I thought I was very connected to this thing because it's a father-son movie. So he said, no, the theme remains. This time the father is making a promise to a daughter. I felt our daughter would work very well in this. And then he told the entire story of this movie to him. And there is like use of gravity and black holes and everything. And if you look at it, the way the story is narrated or way Christopher Nolan told, he said the essence of the movie is the same thing. The essence is there is a promise which is being kept made by a father and he's trying to keep his promise. So that is a specific objective, or that is a way a specific objective can be given. In a general way, you can say it's a sci-fi movie, it talks about future, it talks about good actors, there's Anne Hathaway, it has so many people in it. But at the end of the day, we are talking about what is a specific objective. Now let's bring this to India. If you remember, one of the best movies in India was Sholay. Now, what is this movie all about? Is it moving? Can you see the next slide? Okay, there's a lag at my end. So if you look at Sholay and if you try to think about it, what kind of Sholay movie is, and if you look at online for this, you'll find different things over here. Like Nasruddin Shah really says that this is one of the most horrible movies which is made. There is nothing good about this movie. But we know the kind of movies Nasruddin Shah was acting at this point of time. So he has a very artsy kind of a thing and very intense kind of a thing. So he was not okay with this commercial thing. But if you look at the summary of this, some people may say Sholay movie is all about revenge, or it is about friendship, or it is about the eternal struggle between good and bad. There are different ways in which you can call out the specific objectives. And that's how you should look at speeches also. What the speaker is talking about. What is the overall specific objective of the speech? That will help you give a context to the speech. Okay. My next point is about what I mentioned earlier. Sometimes you will feel very, very hesitant that should I talk about this? Am I the right person? Oh, I have just given 3 speeches myself. Am I the right person to evaluate somebody? Okay, so I want you to tell another story, which I hope will build confidence in yourself. So this gentleman over here is Charles Blondin. He was a guy who lived around 170 years back. And you see the image on the left, there is Charles Blondin, and he was a tightrope walker. There is a very nice scientific name for it. I'll leave it open for you to Google it and find out what this profession is called. But this guy used to have a very long tightrope between the Niagara Falls, and he used to walk across it. Then he used to take a wheelbarrow across it. Then in the wheelbarrow, he used to take a lot of things. He used to make an omelette right on the middle of the row, and he used to eat it and then cross it again. Then he used to go to the end, and there was a huge crowd always to watch it. And he used to say, how many of you think I can cross this row blindfolded? And everybody will say, yes, you can do it. We know you can do it. We know you can do it. And then he used to say, how many of you think I can carry a person and be blindfolded on this? Again, they used to shout, yes, we can do it. Yes, we know you can do it. You can do it. And then he used to ask a third question where there was a pin drop silence. And the question was, who wants to get on my back? So a lot of people showed a very huge amount of confidence when somebody else is taking a risk. But when you are supposed to take the risk, they used to take a step back. But the gentleman whose photo you are seeing, who is on his back right now, was his manager. He used to always be around because whenever there was a pin drop silence, he used to come and he used to make him blindfold and he could cross. Now, the reason behind this story is nobody else is going to come and give you enough motivation that you should have confidence. That kind of confidence you should have in yourself. Or your mentor can give you that kind of confidence that go express your opinion. Don't feel bad that I've just given 2 or 3 speeches. You are an articulate person who is trying to learn new things. You have given 2 or 3 speeches. Please feel free to share your opinion. Secondly, have confidence in the speaker also. The speaker who is standing, he wants to learn something. He's open for feedback. Whether he takes it or not is up to him at a later point of time. But right now, he wants that feedback. So instead of keeping a very good opinion to yourself because you are not confident about expressing it in the right way, it's better to give it out in the world and let him decide whether this opinion is useful or not. You should have confidence in yourself to share that feedback and confidence in the speaker that he will receive it and use it because he wants help. Look at yourself. When you give a speech, you welcome each and every feedback which is given to you. Now, you may not apply it in the next speech because you're still struggling with some of the things. Like, for example, I constantly get a feedback like if I'm speaking for more than 7 minutes, my energy level starts dipping. And I consciously work on it. But that is an area of improvement for me. And I keep asking my mentors and other people also, how was my energy level? This happens only because people are able to tell. And sometimes people tell me that, okay, I didn't like the energy. I didn't think you were doing as great as some other speakers. And it's a feedback for me. The more I ask about it, the more better I get responses, the more I know that I can do things correctly. Okay. Now, what do we focus upon? Okay. This is what I do when I'm focusing on the speech. The first thing I try to find out what are the good things about the speech. An evaluation has to be very, very focused and positive. If you look at the sheets also, or even the judges' ballot, they ask you to be very positive in your evaluation. So focus on what is good. But there will be one thing which will be great in that speech. Highlight that thing also, and don't merge it around good things. So what I do is generally I have 3 to 5 good things. I have one great thing. Then I put in at least 3 recommendations on what needs work. But I don't just put a recommendation. I also put a point on how do you do it. Like if I say that you need to do more voice modulation, I tell them that bring in a character of a little girl over there and try to modify your voice that it will sound like this when you're giving their evaluation. Or bring in a big fat Santa Claus with a ho, ho, ho laughter. So if you're talking about voice modulation, the minute you start giving this kind of voice advices, it helps. If you're talking about floor movement, actually stand in one corner. Or now we are talking in screen. So you can say you can put point number 1 over here, point number 2 over here, point number 3. So don't come up with just vague recommendations that you need to work on your floor place. Tell them how to do it. How is more important. Don't just say that I felt the energy level low. Like when I get a feedback that, oh, your energy level is low, I ask them, how do I improve this? So they say, come on, do a clap, do gestures like this. It will help and show that you're still having a lot of energy. And those are the feedbacks I've got and I've incorporated. So always remember as an evaluator, don't just focus on what is wrong with the speech or what needs work, but talk about what needs work and how to do it. And something about this we will see in the cheat sheet also. Now, while we know what we are talking, it's also important to control yourself. And I really like this image. Like, I think obesity is a challenge throughout India and we always struggle with it. But this is a very nice photo which is talking about like your phone is 98% charged and you're still giving it a full charge. Just a check, how are we doing on the time? Because I need to control myself and ensure that I finish on time. Are we good?
Nikhil, you have 10 more minutes left for you.
Great, great. I am almost done. Okay, so control yourself. Again, when you have decided that you'll meet the speaker before and after the speech, you know that after the speech also you're going to speak to them. So speak about, in those 210 seconds, about 3 to 4 good points, 1 great point, 2 to 3 recommendations and 1 challenge. This is enough for filling in 3 minutes and ending the conclusion very correctly. So learn to control yourself. At one point of time, I got carried away when I was very new to Toastmasters, and we had an amazing evaluator, Toastmaster Geeta. She didn't worry about the evaluators awards or prizes over there. She ensured that she was giving a very right feedback, and I got carried away. I had so many points, I spoke for 5 minutes. Then I realized that at the end of the day, it is feedback, and the person is ready to accept 3 minutes of feedback. I can't force feed him like she's force feeding the child right now. Let me end it at 3 minutes and then go back and do it. And another thing which Toastmaster Lancy from District 98 told me was that we are working in a very professional environment in a Toastmasters meeting. You need to ensure that you're using the time which is allocated to you and you end on time. If you take more time than what you're taking, you are delaying and wasting the time of so many other people. Or you're putting stress on the other people who are going to follow after you and they will have to shorten their part over here. So ensure that you finish within your time. So that was some of the messages which I got, and I think it is important as an evaluator to know this. But it is also important to focus on what we should not do. So don't be negative. Okay, there is a beautiful documentary by the name of Celebrate What Is Right. This is from a photographer by the name of John Dory, and he used to work as a photographer for National Geographic. Please see this documentary. This is so amazing. 40 minutes of telling us how we should look at the world and how there are beautiful things wherein we can focus upon. It's an amazing piece of documentary. And if you're ever feeling low or down or something, please use it. I can try to share a link with you also on this. So don't be negative. Celebrate what was right with the speech. We had a speaker in our club once who froze right in the middle of the speech. So 3 minutes into the speech, he froze, and he did not froze for 10 seconds, 12 seconds. For 1.5 minutes, he was frozen. He was looking at everybody. He was sweating. He was trembling. And after 3 minutes, 1.5 minutes of gap, and he started speaking and he concluded. Toastmaster Anantan from Mulund Toastmaster was an evaluator. He stood up for evaluation and gave an evaluation for 3.5 minutes without ever mentioning the 1.5 minute pause. That day I learned that we should focus on things which are given to us. Everybody knew that there was a long pause, there was need for preparation, there was an area of improvement we could do better. But instead of focusing on the most glaring error, as an evaluator, he spent his energy on whatever was spoken, how do you take it to the next line? And he used one sentence. Next time you re-deliver this speech with your preparation, please focus on this, which covered everything over there. At that point of time, as an evaluator, I would have focused too much on that. Oh, you should have prepared a bit more. You should have remembered this. The pause was something which destroyed, and I would have wasted 30 seconds just focusing my energy on this. Also, don't use all your energy only on the improvements. Call out the positive things also. So spend at least till the green card is coming up, speak a lot of positive things. Then after the green card fire lashes, get into the improvement area. And one thing you need to do is stop summarizing the speech. If you go around saying today the speaker gave a speech, Speaker Dhananjay Hitarachi gave a speech about his life story, about how he joined Toastmasters, how his father took him out of jail, how his mother was disappointed. You're just summarizing what he has said earlier. Spend the time on evaluation. The speaker was very articulate. The speaker used floor movement. The free speaker has been using humor to engage. Those are the inputs which will give a positive air to the evaluation. And the speaker needs to work on this thing. Summarizing the speech can be done in 2 sentences, which is in the objective. Today, the speaker told us about how to look at potential in different people and how different people saw potential in him. Complete speech is summarized in that for Dhananjay Hitarachi. Move on, move to the next one. I hope you guys, some of you are new Toastmasters, please see the speech. I think a lot of people see this speech and get inspired to join Toastmasters. If you've not seen Dhananjay Hitarachi's speech, please see. I think the VP Education should regularly share some good speeches with everyone. This is the first speech everybody should see, I feel. Okay, this I have already said. Don't apologize for your opinion. Don't defend it. Don't over-explain. We had a speaker who gave a speech about Chai Sutta Chronicles one day. And the evaluator spent a lot of time convincing the speaker that you should not be talking about smoking, or you should be saying that smoking is injurious to health, and then went into his own way of defending it. Oh, this is what I feel. It is my opinion. And this was being done completely in the evaluation. I thought it was a waste of time. We discussed, we agreed that, okay, we could do this better. There will be some speaker who will be talking about some content or something. You have an opinion, tell it flatly. I feel the content was inappropriate and you could do better, but let's discuss this afterwards. Okay. Last and most important, don't ignore the timer. In a physical meeting, last 30 seconds, the minute the red card is up, I stop eye contact with everybody else and I focus on the timer because I want to end the time correctly. And when the red card is flashed for the first time, you should be starting to summarize what is your evaluation. If you go to a contest, there is a chunk of mark, almost 15 points, which are given only for evaluation, summary evaluation. So make sure that you are summarizing it correctly also. Yeah, it's 15. This is the judges' ballot. They looked at analytical quality, 40 points, recommendations, which should be positive, specific and helpful, 30 points. What is your technique? Are you positive, sensitive, motivational? Then you get 15 more points. But the summary, and a lot of contestants miss out this point is because they don't summarize the evaluation. And this is something you have to do on a regular basis in your evaluation. I always encourage the GE of any club, whenever you are doing evaluations, if the speakers or the evaluators have not summarized their speech, please make sure that you call it out that summary is important because it will build in good habits over there. Okay, now how do you summarize or how do you evaluate? This is one of the pictures which I see all the time is about how do you make precise writings. You have to edit ruthlessly. Okay, whatever you have written, whatever you have thought, think about how to do it better. This is not something you will learn one fine day. You have to constantly work on it so that you can bring it ahead. So this is the judges' ballot. This is what is expected. And this is how ratings are given at a contest level. So this is all for advanced people or even for beginners. Know what is expected from you. Now, this is the last picture I have in my presentation before I go into the cheat sheet, and I'll take just 2 minutes with the cheat sheet and we can start with the speakers. I love this picture. Means if you look at it, it's a simple thing like a boy is helping a statue. But I wish this was my kid, or I was this kid when I was young and somebody had clicked this photo. We are here to help as evaluators, not just ourselves to be better evaluators, but we are here to help the speaker as well as the club to function better. So always remember this in mind, whatever you're doing, all these things, all the efforts you're taking, it is to help a person be the next level of himself on his journey of evaluation. If you approach evaluation with this positive mindset, you won't be hesitant to take up this role and you won't be hesitant to help out or express your opinion. You are here to help. If you don't take any other tips from my entire session today, please take this step. You're here to help. Whatever opinion you have, please share. Lastly, each one is unique. Okay, I'm going to tell you my style. There are various other styles and you will see some of the styles which work with you. Some of the most popular styles is just saying that what I liked about the speech, what I didn't like. Or the CRC method where you comment, recommend, and compliment, and then close on. Then there are other speech evaluation style when people give specific feedback on the content, on the delivery, on the structure of the speech, and then close on it. Sometimes people come up with very, very imaginative thing. I think this time the third place winner had a way with mnemonics all the time. Like he used to say, you are a star today. And from star, S for specific, T for talented and something. And he used to make up things. Now it's a very good skill. And I saw him doing this in every evaluation, right? But you develop your own style. Until the time you are developing your own style, don't get restless. Pick up with pride or steal with pride good habits you're seeing in anybody else. Call out and acknowledge. This is a good thing, which I see in your evaluation. I want to take this further. 3 years back, I started giving evaluation without notes. I mean, big notes. I used to go on there, and even if I had notes, I used to crumble them and throw them away. Recently, I saw a lot of people in my club also doing that, and they come up to me and say, Nikhil, I'm picking this up from you. You're not the only one who is not using notes now. And I feel really proud about this fact. Okay, so you also develop your style. This is my style, and the cheat sheet is my cheat sheet, but you may come up with a better cheat sheet. So think about it. How do you make it better? There is this beautiful book, Checklist Manifesto by Atul Gawande. He talks about how you can use a checklist for doing almost anything. And he refers to checklists which are used for flying airplanes or even doing cardiac surgery. Now, when I was reading this book, I saw that if such critical, difficult things can be done with a checklist, why can't we do this for Toastmasters meeting? And that's where I came up with this particular format, which I'm sharing before we get into the speech, and let's practice on this one. Now, just an example of checklist. If you're seeing my screen, and this is more for Dheeraj, who is the GE today. This is my GE report from yesterday in my club meeting. Okay, I'm just going to scroll through it just to give you a flavor of what we did. We had our 612th meeting. So we started by what is my duty as a GE, who is going to come in and talk about it. And yes, Toastmaster Karthiki also mentioned, who was an evaluator yesterday. She did her first evaluation and she still wants to learn and she's here. So very good, Karthiki, keep it up. But I started doing this checklist for each and every one. So this is my way of being a GE on what feedback I have for SA, for PO, for each of the speakers, for the evaluators, for role players, what are you good or what more you can do. And this format is already there. I just, even for table topic speakers, I started penning down what are the important things you need to focus upon. Now, this is a very detailed one. I go into pages in this and it takes a lot of time and a bit of experience to do this, but this is how I'm taking the checklist to the next level. And today I want to share with you the checklist which I use for my presentations. Can I take the chat questions? Spend some time on the chat questions before we do this. Okay, I see no questions right now. In case you have a question, please, now would be a time to either call out or say, or we can go on the next one. Am I going
Hi,
very
Nikhil.
fast?
Hi, Nikhil.
Hello. Yeah, tell me.
So, Digvijay here.
Yeah, Digvijay.
So, I had a couple of questions. One was
Yes.
the slide where you mentioned you have to give 2 points, 2 good points, then one great, 2 or 3 good points, one great point, then few challenges and recommendations. Like
Yeah.
one challenge and 2 or 3 recommendations. So wanted to know the difference between recommendations and challenges, and any example about challenge.
Yeah. So this is my way of doing things. So suppose you have 3 or 4 critical points to share with the speaker. Okay. My point is that control yourself. If you're going to give more than 3 recommendations, sometimes it doesn't look very nice, or the speaker also says, what is this? He's given me too many negative points. Or in a contest environment, it will come across that you're being very, very negative about things. So one smart way to do this is call out one of the recommendation as a challenge. So I spend a lot of time on recommendation. And if I have something else to say, if I have 10-15 seconds, which I can spare, I turn a recommendation into a challenge. Like next time you give the speech, I challenge you to use the floor place correctly. Next time you use this, next time you deliver this speech again, I want you to use more characters and give them voice so that you can display your voice modulation. A challenge is a hidden recommendation, but in a motivational way.
Okay,
Okay.
got it. That answers. And the next question was, you said that how do you make notes? You'll be sharing your way of making notes. So
Yeah.
did I miss that, or?
No, this is here. I'm telling you. So this is how I make my notes. Okay. We finish the baby pictures. So if you have a piece of paper, just divide this piece of paper in this way. I generally fold it into half and then fold it into the sections. So at the top of it, I always start with a checklist which says, what is the name of the speaker, what topic, and what time he has taken. Okay, because sometimes it happens that evaluator forgets the name of the speaker. This has happened, or the topic. But more importantly, time is also something which at contest level, a lot of contestants do this. So if you have 7 minutes for a speech and a speaker has spoken only for 5 minutes, it's a good way to encourage him that speak for 2 more minutes. You could build in some recommendations which highlights that you could use this time judiciously. You can build in some pauses or things over here. Okay. Then comes the objective. After every speech, I try to identify, is there a specific or a general objective, or what is my takeaway? I generally start all my evaluation by thanking the speaker for giving me a takeaway. Okay, that is covered in my objective, that I'm assuming this is the takeaway the speaker wants me to give. Is it general? It is specific? It is motivational? It is inspirational? It was humorous? I put it out. Sorry, somebody speaking?
No, thank you.
I hear some noise in the background. I hope.
Oh, that is background noise.
Okay. Then comes this section wherein instead of writing notes, I already make a lot of pointers over here. Okay, so I'm talking about how was the opening, middle, and end of the speech. Were there any quotes used? Okay, is there a story which is being told? Is it a personal story or a different story? How are the transitions from one topic to another? In terms of delivery, how was the body language of the speaker? Did he or she use voice modulation? How was the float movement? Then I talk about how do you build up a speech in terms of, were there audience interaction questions? Was there humor? Was there a call for action? Okay, and was there a takeaway? There is a difference between call for action and a takeaway. Takeaway is when there is a moral of the story. That this is what you should do. And call for action is one step ahead, that you need to do this. A takeaway could be, we should take care of underprivileged kids, or you should be able to share your wisdom, can be a takeaway. A call for action is go join Teach India and help kids do something more or share your wisdom. So there is a difference between a call for action or this thing. So this is what helps me instead of making long notes on whether a prop was used or not. Now this keeps on extending. Means I keep on adding things to it. Like I can put over here, was there a prop used or not? Okay, or I want to talk more about, say, humor, then there was emotion used or not. And I can keep editing this thing, and I keep focusing on things which I feel like in the speeches which I write for myself. I also use this to keep track of whether I'm using all these things or not. Am I using triads? I love to use triads in my speeches. I like to use anaphor as a particular example. But this is something which you keep on developing for yourself, and how do you want to take it ahead? What is critical? What is important for you? And you can keep adding to this. This is just a basic one I'm sharing with you. And this is one way to make notes during your presentation. Then I go into what was good. Now, basis all the tick marks. When I'm having a speech, I'll just tick mark. Oh, quote was used. Let me put a tick mark. Transitions were good. Let me put a tick mark. I don't make a big note that very good use of transitions done by the speaker. I spend that time just putting a tick mark. When I'm sitting and reviewing it on how do I want to speak, that's where I start bringing all the tick marks into the good part. And I put in one of these good things in what was great. Every speech has one great thing. Please call it out. Because many times the judges who are listening to you, evaluating along with you, they hear the speech and they also have an opinion on the speech. If this thing ticks marks with them, you score more points. And if the speaker is aligned with the objective which you are stating, the great point about the speech, you get a better connect with the speaker. So please remember this about what was good and what was great. If you can highlight, it's a great thing. Then comes the point about the X's, what was missing. Suppose there is a story told, but personal story is missing, so it needs work. And those things you come across and put over here, recommendations. So work above you write what needs work, and then how do you do this? So if you see the analysis spends, means almost like if you divide this page, there is almost a 25 to 30% of the space is for how do you do and how do you do an improvement. I'm not just calling out what needs work. What needs work is having almost 30% of the space which is given to the recommendation. And this is my way of doing things, and it has worked very well for me. And after I do this, I make sure that there is enough time to summarize. What are the summary points I want to put in? So when I'm looking at my notes before I deliver a summary, these are the things which are going through my mind. And if you make cheat sheets like this for yourself, I think it will help you. Now, somebody else may suggest that you use a CRC method, or they must be comfortable with a CRC. But you can make a checklist with this also. Like instead of recommendation 1, 2, 3, you can have CRC as a point wherein you want to talk about certain things. Or if you want to talk about content, you want to talk about delivery, instead of recommendation 1, 2, 3, you can use it over there. But it's a very nice checklist kind of approach wherein key elements of the evaluation are already covered. I have regularly used this, and now I'm trying to go one step further that I can mentally think about these things rather than making a note. But it's going to take some time and more efforts on my side to make it to this level. So today I want to challenge you that if you have a piece of paper, please collect it before the speakers start. I'm going to hand over the session to the TMOD. The speakers are going to come in. They are going to deliver speeches. After their speeches, one evaluate means after the speeches, when the evaluation starts, the first evaluator and I will do the evaluation. Then the second evaluator and I will again do the evaluation. And then all of us can have an open session on what were the comments over here. And then we can close on this session. Sounds good? Can we move?
Yes.
So please pick up a piece of paper, and I'll flash this for say 1 minute more while the speaker and the TMOD is getting ready for addressing and the objectives are read out. I'll keep this on. If you're having a piece of paper and you're making your notes, please make it over there. And when the speaker is speaking, I'll try to fill in this one. I've kept 2 sheets ready with me. So I'll try to fill in over here and show you what kind of comments I'm putting it over here so that I can bring it across again. And then we can have a comparison of notes at the end of the thing. Maybe I missed out something which evaluator 1 and 2 are picking up correctly. Or maybe you guys picked up which none of us spoke about it. But collectively, if we come across with a lot of wisdom, the speaker and the club is going to benefit with our inputs. So keeping that in mind, let's be very open about the feedback we have. With this, I end the theory part of the session and let's go into practice. Okay, over to you, TMOD. Shreya, I hope
Thank you so much, Nikhil, for such an informative session. You made it really interesting with those graphics. And for you, we have a token of appreciation. Dear Monica.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And thanks, Kalpana, for reaching out. Like I was very surprised that I got an invitation to do this, but Kalpana was like, I want you to come and do this again. Last time also, You presented and we really appreciated it. So I really liked it. I hope you bring in the current champion. I think her name is Sharon. Yeah, Toastmaster Sharon. Please ask her to come and share her tips also. Last year's champion was from MTM, I think, Toastmaster Jeevan. All the speakers, just ask them to come. They will be very happy to share their inputs. I think Toastmaster Sharon is already doing this. This is my way of doing things. Sharon can share her inputs also. And she's great at evaluation. So the more we learn from each other, the more better we can become. Okay, over to you, TMOD.
Okay, so let's move on. Yes, Monica?
Yeah, the picture is done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next segment, that is prepared speeches. So our first speaker is Dheeraj, who will be evaluated by TM Raj. So I would like to call upon TM Raj to share the purpose of Dheeraj's speech. TM Raj.
Hi, Sia. Am I audible, visible?
Yes.
Great, awesome. Greetings, everyone. Good evening. The very first speaker for today, Toastmaster Dheeraj, is going to deliver second speech of level 5. Pathway is persuasive influence. And the objective of this speech is he's working on high performance leadership project. And the objective of the speech is for him to apply his leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan and organize a guidance committee and implement the plan with the help of a team. This project is having two parts, a speech. Today he would be delivering very first speech of this project, and purpose would be to introduce his plan and timer, kindly note, time would be 5 to 7 minutes. Master of the day, Shreya.
TM Dheeraj. DDLJ. DDLJ TM Dheeraj.
Good evening. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and the guest. Do you know there is a social media site in which if you invest your time, your salary may increase, your professional networking may increase, your career progress may speed up, and of course, your knowledge will increase. Can you guess the social media site?
LinkedIn.
Yes, you're right. So my friend here, DDLJ is not Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. It means to design and develop your LinkedIn for job. There are various social media platforms like YouTube, which is used for entertainment and learning. Instagram is for fun and friendship. Twitter is to learn from the leaders. But LinkedIn is the only social media platform that is self-centered, I can say, where every action you do will be for your personal and professional growth. Now comes the question that how LinkedIn is relevant to the Toastmaster. So those who join the Toastmasters are very motivated people who wanted to improve their leadership and communication skills and apply them to the professional front. So whenever you come across a talented speaker, you quickly want to know about their experience, skills, and so on, and quickly learn from them. Roughly 1 year back, when I joined the Toastmaster, the same situation happened to me. I came across an eminent speaker. I loved the way he formulated a story, a fantastic story, and presented to us. I wanted to know the professional background of that person. I quickly opened my unused LinkedIn account and searched for that person. I got to know that that eminent speaker is an IIM graduate, a lawyer, and possesses many more skills. And one of his certification was in storytelling. I quickly enrolled in the course which was named as Selling with the Story. Do you want to know who the speaker is? Any guess? He is none other than our today's keynote speaker, Nikhil. Now, All this learning is helping me in various ways. Recently, Government of India, as a part of its outreach program, has asked all the researchers, scientists, and engineers to present their research in a form of simple story, so that the normal public can understand the research and the scientific activity carried out in the country. And you can guess that I am going to do very well in that activity. So as a part of this project, I have planned to set up a LinkedIn profile for our club so that each members when joins the club can get to know about the professional front as well as experience of all the members of the club. This will also serve as a single point channel to connect with your area director, division director, club group director, and so on. You can get to know all the activities going on your district and participate in them. For example, do you know right now nominations are open for extended team of district PR manager for District 98. It's one of the wonderful opportunity where you can get a chance to become a newsletter editor, content creator, and much more. And all this information I got from the LinkedIn. Adding to it, whenever a guest will come across that LinkedIn profile of our club, he or she will get to know about the professional diversity of the club, professional activities of the club, and this will increase our chances of converting guests to the members of the club. Despite the numerous benefits of the LinkedIn, I have found that very few Toastmasters thoroughly use LinkedIn. So this project of mine, public activity, will highlight the importance of LinkedIn to the club members and will assist them in their professional journey. We live in an increasingly digital world, and having a digital professional presence makes a good sense. Further, if any member leaves the Toastmaster, we can still stay in touch with them and it can increase our networking. So the plan of action in this direction is we will be meeting once in a week, preferably Thursday. We will be discussing the best way to make an influencing LinkedIn profile. Those who join us can learn from our experience and can build their individual personal LinkedIn profile. Right now, 2 members from our club and 1 member from my office will be assisting me in developing this LinkedIn profile for our club. If anyone is interested, can also join us in this learning. I would like to finish this speech with a quote by Keith Ferrazzi, and goes like, the currency of real networking is not greed, but generosity. So be generous and participate in the growth of the others. Thank you, and over to your Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Dheeraj, for this wonderful speech. Next up, we have TM Raza, who would be presenting his icebreaker speech. And to evaluate his speech, we have TM Sharon with us.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Shreya. Newly joined Toastmaster Raza is presenting his icebreaker speech, and the objective of the speech is to introduce himself and to understand the basics of the speech structure. With that, best of luck, Toastmaster Raza.
Thank you. Am I visible and audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. So, hi all, my name is Mohammad Raza. You guys can call me Raza. Today, as mentioned earlier, I will be giving my icebreaker speech. So before giving this speech, I went through many articles on icebreaker speech and resources available on Toastmaster official website, and almost all of them talked about showing a glimpse of my life. So here is my life journey. I was born on 23rd of March, 1999, one of the greatest day in human history. Although I don't remember much about that day, because I was going through a lot at that time, but I'm sure going by my nature, I might have tried to grab the attention of everyone in the hospital that day. So I was born in Bhavnagar, a small town in Gujarat, but due to some events after my birth, my family came to Mumbai. And I was lucky to start my schooling in Mumbai due to that unfortunate event. So even the most horrible event in your life can open doors to opportunities. My school life was a journey that challenged me, taught me, and tortured me at the same time. Looking back at my schooling days, I believe I don't just miss my geeky and nerdy friends, but also the bullies, because it was not my friends who made me get out of my comfort zone. It was the year 2014 when I gave my grade 10th exam, and I still remember that day. I received the result. It was holiday, and whole family was at home. But I was not scared of my close family. It was the far relatives I was most scared of. Luckily, I scored enough to make all of my far relatives jealous and became the Sarma ji ka beta for my cousins. The years passed and I was in college. A major decision came my way. what to do after completing 12th. I was still looking out for the person who told me commerce fellow scope ही scope hai. The obvious choice was knocking at my door, either to go for CA, CS, or complete my graduation and go for MBA. So I thought, let me go for CS, as most of my friends had filled the form for CS at that time. I went to the Institute of CS, but it was closed as it was a lunchtime. Nearby, I saw in Google Maps, and there was a CA Institute office. I decided to at least bring the CA form to home and then decide what to do next. Next day, when I got up, I decided to fill the CA form. Fate closes some doors to open bigger and better ones, I guess. Gave and cleared the first 2 levels of CA while undergoing my graduation, and now it was time for internship. Joined one of the most renowned CA firm for internship, and within less than 6 months, figured out that I was missing on my college graduation because of this full-time internship. Evaluated my options and decided to take a break from CA till the time I completed my graduation and enjoy the final year of graduation. A move still questioned by many of my batchmates and colleagues, but I am happy because that 1 year gave me lifetime worth of memories and friends who will surely help me roll a joint in the old age, I am sure. At times, it's necessary to take break from a fast-paced life and enjoy the view. After completing my graduation, began my CA journey with a fresh set of enthusiasm, but life had something different for me in the bag. 1 year after resuming my CA journey, it was the world which pressed the pause button and virus hit the world. Lockdown was announced and I got the laptop from my organization to continue working from home. To never let a good crisis go in vain, I decided to start my MBA journey as well. Many told me it's impossible to study for CA final, do a full-time internship, and also watch 3 hours of MBA lecture every morning at 6. I still remember asking for my father's advice and him responding, if you're asking me this question, it means you can do it. Yep, that's all about my career. Now, let me start on my personal life. If I hope no one is asleep as of yet. Let me just go through this quick one and summarize this. So I love reading shairis, watching sitcoms. I do also love traveling and have visited many Middle Eastern countries. And yeah, before I forget, I have also tried few adventure sports, which includes paragliding and solo skydiving in Abu Dhabi. So in the end, I believe say yes to opportunities on the way and enjoy the ride. And also don't forget to wear the seatbelt as the ride can get bumpy at times. Thank you.
Thank you, TM Raza. That was a beautiful speech. Now let's move on to, let's move on to the next segment. That is general evaluation. So I would like to call TM Digvijay for that. TM Digvijay.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. So moving further ahead, I would like to call first evaluator, Toastmaster Raj, to evaluate Toastmaster Dheeraj speech.
Hi, Digvijay. Am I audible, visible?
Yes, you are.
Great, awesome. Greetings, everyone. Good evening once again, and good evening to Speaker Dheeraj. Toastmaster Dheeraj, what a beautiful way of presenting your vision for the club. I loved as you spoke about the purpose of your high performance leadership project to build a LinkedIn profile for a speakers community Toastmasters club. It was really indeed a great project for you. I also loved as you spoke why this is important. You spoke members can develop connect on LinkedIn profile using different professionals as different members. They can connect with team of Toastmaster Internationals. They can also develop their networking using those profiles there. You also shared examples of having one PR campaign to have members as extended team. To give this example, I love this, Toastmaster Dheeraj. I also loved the preparation you did to deliver this project. It was clearly visual while you was very fluent while you were speaking for this project. was really very great. And the key purpose, which was great always, as you set clear vision for working for this project. Now, I would like to say what could be better in your speech. I felt while observing you, while listening you, as you are probably taking notes. You are probably taking reference while you were speaking, as your eye contact was getting distracted continuously. I felt so. Probably you can work on this. And because of this, you were losing fluency while speaking. Second point I would like to have for you is, as this project objective is saying to present clear plan for executing your project, how it can be more better way of presenting. Probably I feel you can use one slide, one PPT slide. There present clear purpose of your project, what you're going to do, who are in your team, have the name on the slide, in what duration. I mean, time frame is also important. In what duration you are going to achieve some specific goal for achieving your completing this project. So probably this could have given more connecting sense to audience and definitely to me. But Toastmaster Dheeraj, as you are working of your high performance leadership project, I love this concept, this topic you selected this project, and it was really great. And I believe strongly that you are going to execute this project very successfully for the club, and you will present your experience with us again, how you achieved the goal and your learning resources with us. Best wishes, Dheeraj. Thank you so much. Back to you, General Evaluator Digvijay.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raj, for that evaluation. Now, I would request Toastmaster Sharon to evaluate Toastmaster Raza's speech.
Thank you,
So,
Toastmaster.
Dheeraj, is it okay if I go before Sharon so that we can cover both evaluations?
Yes, sorry, I forgot that.
We agreed upon. Okay, so can the timer note my time? So I'll take 3.5 minutes to evaluate. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
While we are worried about using social media for wasting time, today Toastmaster Dheeraj came up with a beautiful way in which we can use social media for our personal benefit. Also, he specifically focused upon how the social media can help us Toastmasters further our network and our influence and learn to connect with other Toastmasters. And that was the highlight of the speech which Toastmaster Dheeraj delivered to us today. The speaker was confident, clear, and concise in the way he expressed his entire speech. I really loved the way you opened the speech with a DDLJ reference, and you explained that what does it stand for, and its reference in social media. I love the way you engage the audience with an audience interaction question on, do you know the meaning of this? No, it doesn't mean this. There was attempt and very good humor, very clean humor which came in your speech, and that was a highlight which you started the speech. But I think the great part about your speech was the various advantages which you told us about on how do we take this to the next level, how you can improve, how you can connect, how this is going to be helpful for us. And I think it was a very, very informative speech which gave us a lot of insights. Now, to take this speech to the next level, there are the few recommendations which I have. Firstly, I could see only one hand gesticulating. And that's because the way you have set up your camera and everything. I would urge you to stand up like I'm standing now. Keep your phone or your laptop at a high level so that you can deliver effectively. In an online forum, it becomes very important because you, instead of getting our entire floor, you're getting the screen. Make maximum use of the screen. My second recommendation will be, there was a laundry list of benefits which you are calling out. I would suggest you club them into certain sections and areas and call out 1, 2, 3, 4 as sections. My also recommendation to you is think about how do you bring back a reference to DDLJ to end it, because you opened with a nice funny quote. Can you also end it over there saying that you don't have to rush behind a train or something? That kind of reference can really help. So to summarize, I loved the way you were confident, clear, and absolutely precise about your speech. If you would have spent a little bit more time by setting up your camera and delivering it in a beautiful way wherein you can use the entire screen as a way, like this is the first advantage, this is the second advantage, this is the third. You could have used the screen to completely call out all the advantages. If you could summarize the entire speech into 1, 2, 3 advantages, that would be great. But most important thing, I think for you and the rest of the club, my recommendation is please stand up and deliver. You will have a different level of experiences when you're sitting and speaking and when you're standing and speaking. So that with that, I end my evaluation. Looking forward to hearing from you more benefits about how we can use LinkedIn for our benefit. Thank you. We'll go to the next evaluation and then we can have an open discussion on this. Okay, Toastmaster Digvijay.
Okay,
So
that
I
sounds
can see the timer cards directly, so I was a bit off track.
yes. Okay. So moving on, next, I would request Toastmaster Sharon to evaluate Toastmaster Raza's speech. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, General Evaluator. Can I see the timer cards?
Sharon, I'll be sharing them at the end of 2 minutes.
Okay, sure. The roller coaster ride. What I expected was the ups and downs of your life, Toastmaster Raza. And you started very well with that ups and downs that you had in your life. You started with a smile. You kept smiling throughout till the end. And that is what I saw, and which shows how easy, with ease that you delivered your speech. And when I say smile, it's the effortlessness that comes, the way you delivered, the way we saw you deliver was easy on the eyes, and we loved looking at you because of the smile. Then you had the yearly presentation, wherein you kept saying the years 2017, this and that, which made it easy. We say it's a chronological way of stating, which is the structure that you had. So sometimes it's the simple and the easy way that helps you in in many ways, because we were able to understand from where you came to where, the journey that you had from point A to point B. And the third point that you had was the humor. Humor is your armor, and you used it so wisely. You had so many good lines, so many words, Hindi lines that we always use in our day-to-day life. Some parts which we connect. These lines were so wonderfully used in your speech that uh, you could have added so many things, but you added humor, and humor is the first thing that we love when you have your icebreaker speech. The roller coaster ride could have been more wondrous, more joyous, with a few recommendations that I think you could have added. Is one, the many points that you had. You had a lot of takeaways. Doors open up opportunities, fast paced, which you can pause. These many points you don't need. You just take one takeaway, because we people are forgetful, and that one takeaway would have been the strong punch that you give people, so that they could take that away from your speech and remember your icebreaker speech. Then there is stories. You told about your travel stories, your event in Dubai that you had. You could have expressed it more, made the speech more colorful, and that would have helped us. Oh, that was the person who did skydiving in Dubai. You could have understood more about you and remembered you more with that. And then is the looking at the screen that you did. You had your points and you kept looking. And like Toastmaster Nikhil said, you could stand and say, because at that time you keep a mind map and you refer to your notes in your mind. So your eyes is always in the camera, but you can never referring your screen. That helps us connect more to you. And in summary, I would say you had a good, simple structure. You always had a smile, keep smiling, which is very good. And then you had humor, keep doing that. And the next thing that I challenge you is to stand and give your speech. And with these few points, you would be a great speaker to look out for. Thank you, and over to you,
Thank you.
Toastmaster. Yeah, done with that.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sharon. Now we'll have the evaluation by Toastmaster Nikhil for the second speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Can I start?
Yes.
When a young person says, my life so far has been a roller coaster ride, and it has been a roller coaster ride and it's going at a very fast pace, I get very excited on what future twists, turns, ups and downs are going to come. And today, Toastmaster Raza, in his beautiful, strong voice, told us about how he has faced a lot of ups, downs, and fast acceleration in his life when he went through his CA courses, the choices he made in his life, and the choices which he's still making over here. Thank you, Toastmaster Raza, for sharing so many incidents of your life. We now know you better and we know how to interact with you with your experiences. I really loved your voice. You have a very powerful, good noise, and it is compounded with your command on English. I couldn't find any issues in the way you structured your sentences, the grammar you were using. It's beautiful. Perhaps it is the time and effort you have spent in learning that is really helping you shape and write your speeches. This is going to be an asset. Please use it very, very carefully. I also loved the way you spoke about your personal and professional life so that you called out as two different aspects of your life. I loved the way you brought in a self-depreciating humor to this entire speech and said, okay, I hope people are not sleeping or something. That's a nice way to connect back and have a callback at the end. But the most important part about your speech was the ease at which you are speaking. It takes a lot of time and effort to develop that ease, and you should use this asset carefully and correctly. Now, I'm sure you will always be introducing yourself, the kind of personality you are, and the forums you'll be meeting, you'll be introducing yourself. And like you do in this forum, I would request that in Toastmasters forum also you stand up and use this entire screen for this thing. You can take a left step and say, when I was a child, I used to do this 1, 2, 3. When I'm at this stage in my career, I was doing this thing. And then go, today I'm in this stage and I'm looking forward for that journey over there. So the entire floor in 3 steps becomes a very nice timing transition of your life. And I felt somewhere you have a beautiful voice, but it can be better if you use pauses. Now, how to use pauses is before you say something important, you take a pause. And after you say the important thing, you take a pause. I decided to do CA. You see the pause before and after. It's like a frame for that word. I decided to go on skydiving. When you say this way, you grab the attention of the speaker. So use pauses very, very carefully because you're a powerful speaker and it will really help you. You also need to work on transitions. A self-depreciating humor can help you connect back to the audience. But how are you moving from your personal to professional? You can say, while these personal things were happening at my end at professional level, at my personal life, there was another turmoil which was happening. When you call out these things, it sets a context that you're moving from one point to another point. And these are nuances which you'll pick up slowly with your skills, I'm very, very sure. So to summarize, it was a beautiful speech. We got a glimpse into your life. You have a beautiful voice, great command on English. If you can use the pauses to accentuate certain actions, reduce the monotone, work on the transitions, I think the speech will get a new breath of life. I'm looking forward to hear what new adventures you're going to undertake. Over to you, General Evaluator. Okay, so let's do something. Let's have an open session right now, just for 5 minutes. If the members want to share something or maybe the speakers. So let's have a word with the first speaker for today, Toastmaster Dheeraj. How was your experience? Can I take over, G, for this 5 minutes? I'll take over the session and I'll give it back to you, okay?
Sure.
Sure. So Toastmaster Dheeraj, I want to hear from you. How was the evaluation? What are the points you liked? What was your response?
So like every time I receive a feedback, I love it because it is said that feedback is the breakfast of genius. Although I'm not genius, but eventually I will become a genius if I implement all the feedback given by the expert Toastmasters. And second thing, that what I am inclining for, is what I am longing for in the Toastmaster is to prepare the speech in the minimum amount of time. Like generally, if you give 1 or 2 days for your speech, then you make a very good speech. But my inclination is towards making a good speech in maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes. or at the maximum of 1 hour, because we in a professional don't have enough time for giving 2 days, 1 day. Otherwise, we will be reluctant to come forward and give the speeches. And I have rarely seen anyone completing the pathway. And I think that from speakers community, I am the first one to complete the pathway, because I believe in execution more than the perfection. So whenever there is an open slot, I give that and I come the speeches, and I'm improving only because of the feedback from the expert Toastmaster, including the Lancy, including the Nikhil sir, including everyone whosoever has given me the feedback till now.
What do you feel about the feedback you got? 2 evaluators evaluated you today. What was just coming back to the meeting and...
Okay, so first thing that I realized that I should be standing position, I should be using properly my hand movement. I wanted to use it because I'm sitting in a chair and there's a restriction. So I should have prepared proper in the beginning of the meeting, the map, all the equipments and angle, everything I should have planned earlier so that I could give in a standing position the speech. The second thing I realized is humor. That I was missing the humor. I'm very blunt people giving the speech straightforward, not adding any humor part. So yes, I could have added like something from the DDLJ in the later part of the speech as well to add little bit of humor to my speech. And yes, it's good to use the numbering format to give the any advantage of anything, because people can remember if it is a point format. One more suggestion I like is like using the presentation. But yes, I am inclining towards giving the speech in the minimum amount of time, and to going for PPT will be time taking. I should have done that. But yes, from the next time I will be using the PPT for presenting my speech. Over to you, sir.
One last feedback from my side. While you're on the journey of trying to practice impromptu speaking and learn to speak at a short notice, please make sure that while you're on that mission, you don't miss out the objectives of the current speeches. If you ask me, I spend almost 2 weeks even now preparing for my speeches. 1 week to write it, 1 week to deliver it. I also speak in professional places, and many times you'll get advance notice and the things you're going to repeat are going to be okay. Where you get to practice, please make sure you're not spending 1 hour or 1 hour before the meeting you're giving a speech. That is one thing. Secondly, don't give more than 3 points. People don't remember so many things. So, and if you say right in advance, what I wanted to say over there was, say, I have 3 great advantages for you. Advantage 1, advantage 2, advantage 3. It somehow the 3 numbers people remember always, and 3 points is something which we always recommend. It will summarize and it will build an anticipation that, okay, he's going to tell us 3 things. I couldn't understand where this speech was going suddenly and all this, but those were my inputs from my side. Toastmaster Raj, you have something else to add, which you could? I really loved your evaluation. Very nice, positive, smooth way of evaluation you did.
Thank you, Nikhil. Yeah, thank you, Nikhil. Yes, I loved your evaluation too a lot, as I realized what could be more better after listening you. But yes, I had felt while listening the speech that it can be worked in more better manner to be aligned with the speech objective. And the speech objective is high performance leadership, and to have more and more about planning and vision, which we are going to have as per this first speech project. So I feel that as per the objective, this could have been more better. But yes, I loved as you spoke about delivery perspectives in generic manner. So I really loved a lot while you are doing your evaluation. And for Dheeraj,
you brought the attention back to high performance, and the use of presentation could have been very well because it was an informative speech. So you get more to practice. But Dheeraj is on another mission altogether. He wants to take the objectives and his own mission of impromptu speaking together. Dheeraj, 2 मयान में एक तलवार नहीं रह सकती, मतलब वो बारी बारी में रहेगी. एक ही वक्त पे नहीं रहेगा दोनों भी. So sorry to get into Hindi, but you need to have one sword in your hand at one point of time. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you, Toastmaster Raj, but great inputs, great points. And I also picked up that you ended the speech on what was the great about it. It's a nice way of ending on a very high positive note, and that was really great. Any other member wants to share maybe something Raj and I missed out you want to call out about Dheeraj's speech?
Sharon, anything from your end? Sharon is also a good evaluator.
No, nothing, Dheeraj. I think most of the points are covered and nothing from it.
Sharon was preparing for her evaluation.
Yeah, actually.
You are going to make her see the recording again. But again, just to end on this, Dheeraj, look at the recording of this meeting. I was really worried about asking for your second hand because I couldn't see your other hand at all. It was always your left hand which was coming. Maybe you're holding the phone or something, notes or some comments or something with you. And I was worried that should I call out that I couldn't see your hand? And is there a reason you're not showing your hand? Is it like you're holding a coffee cup or something else? So it became a very awkward thing for me, but I called out immediately. But standing up is something which I think everybody in the club needs to experiment. See, when I'm standing up and speaking right now, even you, Sharon, it's like I have this entire forum. I can move back, I can forward. I get almost 6 steps over here. One right now, left, right, backward, 3 steps that way. You're missing out on real estate in your house when you're making a speech and you're not using that thing. So think about it. Maybe one session, encourage everybody to set up your cameras in a way you can do this. Now look at this. This is my house right now. I've kept a bottle over here next to all the gods and everything, and I'm just keeping my phone around here. And there are make-do arrangements like this. Sometimes I have chairs and a laptop on the chair with a box or everything to make sure that my eye contact doesn't move. And a lot of people, sometimes they keep the phone down and you can almost see their nostrils and all this. The recordings are on and all this. You don't want to do this kind of things. So with that, let's move on to the second speaker. The second speaker, Raza. Toastmaster Raza, Eid Mubarak. Mubarak earlier.
Thank you, Nikhil.
How was
Thank
your
you,
experience
everyone.
about the evaluation?
So it was my first speech, and the only thing I faced trouble was with the technology. So I'm not sure why, but suddenly the Bluetooth disconnected from my PC, and I had to reconnect it on my phone. So that was like, it gave me some anxiety, and it was like my first speech. So I was already anxious, and then like I had a long speech. So I had 800 word speech, and it was my first speech. So I written it wholly, like from start to end, from high to summary. So maybe for next, I believe that I have 2 challenges. The one would be standing and giving speech, and second would be to write pointers instead of the whole speech, basically.
Do you have the speech in front of you when you were giving it, or you were looking at or something?
No. So I had it, but like I had to summarize many things in that speech because like it was huge speech. So like I did summarize the whole personal life part, basically.
So what happened was I could get a sense that you're probably looking at notes or something, and it's very easy to see because you feel that probably nobody will realize that in an online forum.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are easily able to make out, and nobody will call this out. Like as an evaluator, when I called out that you're probably listening to notes, as an icebreaker, it's okay, you can refer to notes. Yeah. But as you go in your journey, you're written 800 words. Once you practice enough, my suggestion is always like you prepare 2 weeks in advance, 1 week to write the speech, polish it, and 1 week to practice it aloud, record it, send it to your mentors or seniors, and ensure you get enough feedback on it, and try to deliver it without looking at it. Okay.
Yeah.
Try to find out what I would suggest. If you have 7 minutes for a speech, write 700 words because you already have a very fast pace of speaking. If you end up speaking at such a high pace, the audience will be left behind.
Yeah.
And some of your sentences were very long sentences. Okay, the way you have written. So just where you have put a full stop, you will realize that immediately. But you have a beautiful voice and probably you're very tall. So please make use of those attributes and make sure that you bring out the best things. I really loved Sharon's evaluation for you. Sharon, you want to add something?
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing, Raza, I'm at level 3 and I still write from high to summary. And because I like to understand where should I keep my pauses, where should I say words that should be louder. I mean, so in order to understand, I like to write my whole speech. And what I do is I deliver this without looking at it. And even when you give the speech, no matter how unprepared, I feel just shut everything off, look at yourself or the people that are there and just give it. No matter, I mean, you don't have to say the same words, just give it like that. And like that, it will be easier is what I feel.
And another thing I would recommend, Raza, is find another club where you can repeat the speech, and preferably go to a offline club where people are meeting in person, because you are very new to the Toastmasters journey. Get an experience of both online and offline. And it's always better because offline will always give you enough opportunities to connect and it will be convenient for you. But at this point of time in your journey, just have an experience of what it feels when you're standing in front of 20, 25 people. They are looking at you right in your eyes and you're supposed to have eye contact with them. The big problem with online is sometimes we don't realize how many people are looking at us. And when I'm talking to you right now, I see my image also in the corner. So I end up looking at myself, doing my hair, all this and all that. So just make sure you get an experience of both the things. I am sure your VP education will be more than helpful to arrange something for you this way. And coming back to your speech or something, you're going at a very fast pace. You have a different level of understanding of English and communicating in English. Some of our Toastmasters may not have that one. And some of your audience, whether it is Toastmasters or set, may not have. So think about how do you want to slow down and pause. One challenge for you is try to deliver your speech as if you're talking to a 5-year-old. Maybe it will take 10 minutes, but you will slow down. And then you know what happened? I decided to do CA. So your tone, everything will change because you're talking to a 5-year-old. Or if you're talking to your grandmother. Right now you're thinking that we are at par with you. All of us are CAs, all of us are professional and you can follow every part. But sometimes your audience is in their own mind. They are occupied with something. So it's up to you. How do you improve your communication to a level where you can incorporate those inputs? Anybody else has any inputs for Raza? Rest of the club? So I'll just take one more minute and end on this one. So we have something called as live circles, which we do in Mulund Toastmasters. What happens is at the end of the meeting, all the speakers get together, evaluators get together, and they share inputs. So there is a circle in which we ask the speaker, how was your experience? What we just did. So we found out Dheeraj, what is his secret mission about Raza and how 800 words is a problem. And then we try to guide them again this thing. And it takes around 15 to 20 minutes again to connect back and share feedback. But it's like the speaker or the evaluator always gets a me time on this one. But more important, I realize that most of the evaluators are never evaluated on a daily basis. So it helps us evaluators also get better on what we can do better. So today was an attempt at doing a live circle in my own way. And with that, I bring an end to the entire session, which I was supposed to take. I am quite sure I have exceeded the time, and this happens a lot with me. And this is something I need to work upon. Before you give me that feedback, I'm a bit aware of it. But I really enjoyed listening to the speeches and the evaluations. Thank you for inviting me over here. I hand over the session back to the general evaluator for the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Thank you, Toastmaster. That was a great discussion. And next, I would call for the tag team report. First, the timer, Toastmaster Kunal, to present the timing reports for the speakers as well as the evaluators.
Thank you, Journal Evaluator. Am I clearly audible?
Yes, you are audible and visible.
All right. So to start with our first speaker, Toastmaster Dheeraj, he managed to complete his speech in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. And our second speaker, Toastmaster Raza, took 4 minutes and 10 seconds to complete his speech. Now coming on to the evaluations, Toastmaster Raj took 3 minutes and 18 seconds. And Toastmaster Nikhil for Dheeraj evaluation took 2 minutes and 55 seconds. And for the second speaker, Toastmaster Sherin took 2 minutes and 38 seconds, while Toastmaster Nikhil took 3 minutes and 11 seconds. So all these speakers as well as the evaluators are qualified for the polls. And that's been my report, and over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kunal. Now I would call upon the R counter, who has been patiently hearing all the crutch words and to help us improve our communication. Over to you, R counter, Toastmaster Imran.
Thank you, General Evaluator. And I had to struggle a lot to find the pillar word and crutch word because each speaker was natural in their speeches. So there was hardly uses a filler word. I noticed Toastmaster Nikhil used one filler word and one crutch word, and Toastmaster Raj used one filler word, and Toastmaster Dheeraj used one filler word, and Toastmaster Shirin used one filler word, and Toastmaster Raja took 2 to 3 long pauses. So I recommend everyone to use short pauses as well as speak a little bit slowly so that you can overcome this filler and crutch word. So over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nikhil. Moving on, the grammarian who notes all the correct usages and not so good usages of the English language, and also notes down the usage of word of the day and phrase of the day. I would request Toastmaster
Digvijay, I think he has signed out because he was having a migraine, so couldn't be able to complete his sit in the meeting. So we can skip that part.
Okay, no problem. So next, I'll present my general evaluation report. Starting off with the Starting off with the sergeant at arms, the meeting started on time. Mission statement was given and the instructions were given. Then the presiding officer gave the guest a chance to introduce themselves and promote the Toastmaster. Toastmaster of the day introduced the tag team. An education session was conducted, which was very insightful, and like for me, it was very insightful. And few of the positive points which will stay with me forever was like when the Toastmaster Nikhil said about during the evaluation, we get down to jotting down the points, which is not a good exercise. So that was one of the points which will stay with me forever. Now on to the evaluation section. Both the speakers used the CRC approach. That is the commendation, recommendation, and commendation approach. And the discussion round, the three-way discussion from the two evaluators and the speakers, this was the kind of first experience which I am having. So I personally liked it. And over to the tag team report, I just have one recommendation for the timer. Like the timing cards were not displayed throughout the speech. I would recommend that the one slide should be added to that timing card presentation, white slide, so that the timing cards are displayed throughout the speech and the speakers are not disturbed. Moving on to the R counters report, it was precise, and grammarian report we did not have. So thank you for having me, and over to the presiding officer, Toastmaster Kunal.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Digvijay, for such a detailed evaluation. Now I think it's time to have polls for the best speakers and the best evaluators. So Master Monica, are we ready with the polls?
Yes.
All right. So Master Monica, could you please share them?
Some technical glitches there. Can I?
I think we have lost Toastmaster Monica.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, Monica.
Yeah. Yeah, here is some technical glitch. Can I have 1 minute?
Yeah, sure. So while she prepares for the polls, I would like to thank Toastmaster Nikhil for joining the meeting and enlightening us with the in-depth knowledge he has about the evaluation. And we would love to have you, sir, again as a journal evaluator in the meeting.
Definitely. Maybe not this month, but next month I would love to do an general evaluation in this. Please reach out to me. I would be really happy to come up.
Definitely.
And Nikhil sir, I have just one question from you. I have seen your LinkedIn profile because I am right now working on LinkedIn. So there is
everybody who is calling me sir.
Okay, so there I found that you have a certification related to the storytelling, and I like representing everything in the form of story. So what's your feedback on that course certification?
See, LinkedIn has a lot of courses and a lot of benefits which are coming in. Storytelling, I feel I'm also a chartered accountant, and I found sometimes it's better to have some background and some inputs which can help you tell and inform your numbers in a better way. So I use storytelling for this thing. Like there are two stories I use always. One is the 6 blind men and elephants. So every time I have to convince people on what is the right number and how to look at this number, I use that story as a base. And it's important day by day for us professionals to understand how do we communicate effectively, especially in this digital area where most of the time our meetings are happening online. So how good we can get with your presentations and how we can work around this. And please do that course. It's very interesting also. It hardly takes any time also. I was able to finish it in, I think, less than a couple of hours. It went in very fast. So please do that and keep learning. But I have a very specific feedback for you, Dheeraj. Though you want to work on impromptu speaking, please do not take 1 hour to prepare your speech. You are having the benefit of attention of 15 people over here. 15 people into 7 minutes is what? 7 5 are 35, 3 carry 105 minutes of attention you are getting. At least start a week early so that you can make the most for those things. It's not like you're already a very articulate person. You're doing all the right things. But if you can prepare in 1 hour such a beautiful speech, I'm sure a week's time of preparation will be so encouraging and enriching for the rest of the team. So think about them also while you're on your personal mission on being as articulate as possible in a shortest amount of time.
Sure, I will do it. From next pathway, I will be preparing for 1 week advance.
Okay, great. I think that's all from my side. If it is okay, I would like to take your leave, or we have still awards which are going on, right?
Yeah, Nikhil, I would like to ask everyone to vote for the best speaker. I have shared the link in the chat box.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just finished.
All right, now you all can please vote for the best evaluator from the second link. All right, I think we have got our winners. The best speaker, according to the polls, actually is both the speakers, Toastmaster Dheeraj and Toastmaster Raza. We have got equal votes. And for the evaluator, the best evaluator for today's meeting is Toastmaster Sharon. Although it was neck to neck, but Toastmaster Sharon has been the best evaluator. So congrats to both the winners as well as the participants. Now, Toastmaster Monica, are we ready with the certificates? I think again we have lost her, but that's fine. We can share the certificates later in the WhatsApp group that we have. So now I think everything is being done. Yeah, Monica, are you there?
Yeah, certificates are ready.
All right, you can please share them.
Is it visible?
Yeah, it's visible. Congrats, Toastmaster Dheeraj and Toastmaster Raza. Raza has managed to win the best speaker in his first speech itself. So, Monica, we can move on to the next award. Congrats, Sharon. I think you have signed out. I can't see you.
I'm here.
All right. So, Dheeraj, could you please click a picture of Sharon for the certificate? All right, I'll do that by myself. That's fine. We are done.
I've done it.
All right. Monica, you can stop sharing. All right. Before we end up, can we have a quick picture of all of us? Toastmaster Raj, could you please mind turning on your camera? Shreya is always on the camera, so need not to worry about that. All right, we can have a.
That's done.
Thank you. That's done. So, as a president, I officially close the meeting and we are open for the networking session if anybody wants to connect.